Alright, so the following graph, this is part 2. The following graph of a normal distribution has a mean of 12 and a standard deviation of 3. So we can see the middle value right here is 12. So that's my mean. My mean is 12, and my standard deviation, which is sigma, is equal to 3. So it goes out in 3 in each direction. 12, 15, 18, 12, 9, 6. Before I start answering any of these questions, I'm going to fill in my information on my graph based on the 68, the 95, and the 99.7 rule. And that rule states that within one standard deviation, 68% of my data is accounted for. So because I have two sections, I have to take 68 and divide it by 2. So 34% is here, and 34% is there. Next, I know, and this is in your book too, between 3 standard deviations, I know that 95 is accounted for, but I already have 68 in the center. So what I have to do is I have to take 95, subtract off my 68, which leaves me with 27, and then divided by 2, because I have 2 spots there, is 13.5. So that means that each one of these is going to be 13.5%. 13.5%. And lastly, I have my 99.7, but I have to subtract off the 95% because I know that's what's left. So I have between those 2 points, between the 3 and all the way to the 21. And then again, because I have 2 spots, I'm going to have to divide that one by 2 as well. So I have 99.7. Get rid of the 95 that's in the middle. And then divide it by 2, I'm left with 2.35. And that's 2.35 on that side, and 2.35 on that side as well. So now it's a lot easier to actually fill in my questions, right? First question says, what percent of the data is greater than 12? Well, I have 34%, 13.5%, and 2.35%. But what happens when I add all these together? What am I left with? Well, the 99.7 is everything, right? So what am I left with? If I have 100% total, subtract off the 99.7, that means I'm left with 0.3%. 0.3% off each edge. So that means that I'm going to have, divide that by 2, is going to be 0.15. So the rest of it that's going on this side is 0.15, and on that side is 0.15. So that means greater than 12 is anything from here on. Anything from there on. So I could take the 34, add my 13.5, add my 2.35, and then finally add my 0.15. Should leave me with 50%, right? We've worked it out on calculator and it looks right on the graph. So it should be 50% of my data is contained above 12 and also would be contained below 12. Next thing it says, what percent of the data is greater than 6? Where is 6? Okay, 6 is down here. I've got all my information filled in and it wants greater than. So again, look at 6 and go to the right. So you can take the calculator and you can add all the values that are greater than 6. 13.5 plus 34. You might know right away what it's going to be anyways. Plus 34 plus 13.5 plus 2.35 plus 0.15. Should be 97.5% of my data. 97.5%. Okay. Next one, what percent of the data is greater than 18? Here's 18. We're not looking at the 6 anymore. If I go from 18 on, I just have the 2. I have the 2.35 plus the 0.15. So I get 2.5. 2.5% of the data is greater than 18. Next question, what percent of the data is less than 15? Here's 15 up here, less than, so I'm going back that way. So I'm going to add all the values that are less than 15. So I have a 34 plus a 34 plus a 13.5, my 2.35, and my 0.15. I get 84%. Oops, I missed one there. I forgot to write it down. 84%. Less than 9 is right here. And again, I just add up the values. I might have done this one, I don't know. 13.5 plus 2.35 plus 0.15. That's equal to 16%. Okay, so that's question 1. Basically, fill in the values on your graph first. If you can remember this and write it down, it's in your book as well. That's how you answer through all those questions.